comfortably zoned with the Zigzag Man in Alameda, California, pushing on the doors of life marked pull and fighting the unholy trinity as we go. Big business, organized religion, and government. I am back, and you are comfortably zoned with me, the Zigzag Man, in Alameda, California, right across the bay from San Francisco on this kind of cool mid-December day in the year 2015. And I'm a blessed guy because all my guests are passionate, all my guests have a certain panache. Today is no exception. I've got two comedians, one who's already checked in from the old Holy City Zoo days back in the 80s, San Francisco, and they're going to help me reminisce about those days. First on the list, Stephen Pearl. How are you, Stephen?
And that's how the Jews control the weather. Oh, are we on the air? Erase that. Hi.
Yeah, we got the second comedian. First of all, I'm Jewish. Stephen Pearl is Jewish.
Aren't we all?
Three Jewish. We got Bob Rubin is coming up, too. And when you're in love, the whole world is Jewish, isn't that?
Three Jews. Count them, three. But for you, 2.5.
That means 5 opinions.
Good enough. So, that's right. There's a lot of opinions there.
All right. Stephen, how long has it been since you've been doing comedy? What, about 82, 81? Tell me.
Well, I remember back then we didn't have cell phones or email. You just had to go to your coke dealer's house and hope he was home. I've been doing this since before people roaming the earth.
He generally was home in those days, believe me.
Yes, it pretty much was. Yeah. Let's just say I didn't sleep in 1983 and I didn't blink in 1984. But that's another story.
That's another story. And what was your first Holy City Zoo experience? Did you get up as an
my very, very first. I wanted to live in San Francisco. I was living in New York. That's where I'm from. Born and bred and braid and roasted and toasted, honey roasted in New York.
What part of New York are you from?
Long Island, the good part to go away from.
All right. Well, I'm from Queens. I'm from Jackson Heights. So.
Well, I'm coming over. This train goes to Opeg, Massapequa Park, Lindenhurst, and Babylon. Changes to make for the train that goes to Gibson, Hewlett, Woodmere, Cedarhurst, Lawrence, Inwood, and Far Rockaway. There, I just felt homesick doing that.
Far Rockaway. Boy, do I have memories of Far Rockaway in my life.
Yeah, another good place to get away from. I was born there, and as soon as they got the placenta off me, my first words were, "Get me out of this dump."
Well, Beach Rockaway, and the beach in the summertime was not all that bad. When I was growing up.
It was all right till August when we had the jellyfish infestations. Those are always fun.
that was it. But we did have fireworks at night. We had the boardwalk. We had skee ball. It was
sure. We had the junkies. We had muggings. It was wonderful. Far Rockaway at night is a summer festival.
How'd you have the balls to move to California?
Okay, I came out here with a friend just for the summer in 1976 when I was 20, and I'd never really been too far out of New York. I'd been as far west as Ohio before that. And I just fell in love with the place. I never saw scenery like this. The people were great. The weather was amazing. Well, why don't I just live here? So, I stayed. This was the summer of 1976. And I went back to New York. I finished school to please my parents, blah, blah, blah. And my last year in college, I was going to the School of Visual Arts in New York. And they had a talent show, and somebody signed me up for it. And I went up and did stand-up, and I killed. It was the first time I'd ever gone, whoa, this is easy. I'm going to do this. Will be an easy road to stardom. I like this. And I did a couple more times at real clubs in New York, like the Improv and the Comic Strip. And sometimes I killed, sometimes I bombed, but I knew I wanted to do it. And I also knew more than anything I wanted to get out of New York and move to San Francisco. So I finally did. I came out here in 79, early 79, for several months just to scope it out. And I stayed at a transient hotel near the Tenderloin. And I found out about different clubs, and I went to the Holy City Zoo on Tuesday night when Tony DePaul was running the show. I don't know if you remember him. He used to work there, and then And I didn't go on. I just watched, and there was a little smelly urine, smelling little rotting cabin that held about 60 people or 70 people, and it was packed on a Tuesday night, and everyone who went on killed except for one guy. and I go, wow, this is cool. And then I spoke to Tony after the show, and I think maybe the next week or a couple of days later or whatever, I went on and had a lot of fun, and I just started going to Holy City Zoo and then the Punchline on their open mic night, and I just hit whatever was available. The other cafe was happening then in the Haight, and it was before the big comedy boom had hit, and then there were just a few places to play, but I really enjoyed it, and I fell in love with the city. I went back home to New York, hung out for a few more months, packed everything, and moved out here, I think, on Halloween of 1979, and never looked back. And I just immersed myself in the comedy scene. And coincidentally then, the big wave was starting to happen, the big comedy wave of the 80s, and before we knew it, a lot of us were making a pretty comfortable living at it.
Right, and you were among them, and it doesn't look like Rube's going to show. I don't understand.
So what else is new? He's the George Jones of comedy. Awesome.
I'm just listening. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. I'm still on my way to Alameda.
You
just listening.
You just did it, man. You just did it. You showed up.
I can't do I didn't want to make this a phone-in, so I'm on my way. I'm on my way to Alameda.
We got the bong all cleaned and everything's all ready for you when you get here.
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
When did
you They got the Vaseline and the Bullwinkle mask all ready to go.
Talk to each other. When did you guys meet, and what's your first memories of knowing each other?
I was a young, naive congressman from the state of West Virginia, and Stephen, of course, was a congressman from the state of New York, and we met.
We were using the stove in the public bathroom together, and he reached over and tapped my foot, and the rest is history. Let you people use your imagination.
We met in Congress.
Right.
We met one afternoon in the park in Haight-Ashbury, and I said, "Wait, I think I just saw you blink." And he said, "No, I didn't." And I go, "I haven't either." And yeah, then we, like he said, we didn't blink for the. I think it was
nobody blinked back then. No, nobody separated their teeth either. It was a mystical time, a wonderful time, a marvelous time. It was the age of Brooklyn Jimmy.
Yes, it was the age of knowing who was holding it. It was pretty easy to know. When their jaw was frozen. When their jaw was frozen, you say, "Don't lie to me. Just pull it out of your pocket and help me out."
That guy's eyes are sweaty. He must have some wisdom on him.
Yeah.
Rube,
everything's motorized, and we're juicing. So you could tell, "Hey, you got some carrot juice? I heard a motor humming there in your pocket."
Well, you're just happy to see me.
Yeah.
I got a question. Who wrote the article? It was a wonderful article written about you very recently, about your experiences in the Punchline, Rube, in the San Francisco Weekly. It was about...
Oh, yeah, that was... Giselle Velasquez. Very nice woman, and the people, her and her editor at the Examiner told me that they have been fans since the early 200s, I believe. And so she contacted me through Facebook, and, said that she wanted to write an article, and we did a phone interview, and they were very supportive on the last round of shows that I did up there since last spring and up till now, and which was nice, because, we go so far back. Steve and I go way back there, and we used to get a lot of fans off of doing the radio and just by playing everywhere in town, every night. And back then also, you could start somewhere. There were so many gigs that you could play for 3 months, not repeat anywhere, and then 3 months later, people were ready to hear you again and where you started. You could literally go a couple of years without even doing a road gig.
They had more one-nighters than Starbucks, man. It was insane. They had like a.
It was unbelievable. It was incredible. Now it's kind of like the same here for me in Hollywood. I don't have to leave my home for, up to 2 years if I don't want to, for
Right.
completely different reasons. But
what do you miss about living?
I'm going to stay home and watch the walls sweat.
playing solitaire with a deck of 51. What do you miss about the Bay Area, the Northern California life, Rube?
Well, I've just been being trained in psychedelic psychology rehab therapy, and I'm getting my license as a trained psychedelic therapist. And one of the things that I'll miss with all the customers.
You load the bong. That's what that means, right?
Yeah, I miss all the potential customers I could have up there, man. No, you know what? I miss what do I miss living up there? I miss a lot of things, man. I was young when I lived up there, so I definitely miss being young. And
we all do that.
I miss having all that pocket money. That was fun. I miss meeting my bookie at Tommy T's in San Leandro, to give him thousands of dollars, only to take it back by playing dice with him while I was still there. And
Brian Copeland was running that gig for a long time. Am I right?
In Tommy T's?
Yeah, I thought Brian Copeland had that for a long time.
No, I don't think so. Tommy T was doing it, man. Tommy Thomas, but there were a bunch of Tommy
here there. I first met Brian at Tommy T's. I don't remember the shows.
Right.
Yes, Brian was there a lot. I think he lived right next door. But no, San Francisco is such a beautiful city, and that's what I miss the most about it.
What's the big appeal about LA? Is it the weather? In the business you're in, we know what the appeal is, but just the living day to day. Is it just the weather? Is it? Tell me.
I think it's all the star value that I punch here. Just being here and being a movie star, I think it just makes it easier for me to walk to work. I live near all the major studios, and
right.
Smoking jackets and ascots are way more available here. They're in all the stores and
right.
things like that. I've been here for so long that I've lived here for so long that I live here. So that's the way it is. Plus, I don't think I can get back in up there. So when I've heard about what's going on with all the rentals, a lot of my friends have moved out of there. A lot of my friends have moved away. So left. I know a lot of people have moved out of San Francisco to points.
Tell Rube about the rental situation in Northern California. Tell them you live in the East Bay, as do I.
I'm renting a small molecule for $50,000 a millisecond. But it's gone up quite a bit. But since we're in Concord, we're in the East Bay, so we got a decent deal on the place. We got lucky, and that rent is still a lot more than I would have considered paying way back when. But we're happy here. We're very glad I moved back up. Because I can see the city anytime I want. I can't live in it now. I can't afford it. But the city, I can just drive for 20 minutes, and there's the Golden Gate Bridge, and there's Coy Tower, and there's the city, and there's all that scenery, and you go, safe.
Safe indeed.
Yeah, it's easy breathing up there,
Rube?
man. Huh?
What's your favorite place in LA? What do you do recreationally down there? Seriously, when you're not being a movie star.
When I'm not being a movie star. Well, that takes up all my time. I like I like hanging in Hollywood. I like the density of it and the weird energy of it. And basically, I've lived right in Hollywood the whole time I've been down here, which is I've been down here 23 years.
Are you in touch with my buddy Rudy Reber at all?
Every now and then, man, I talk to Rudy on, what do you call it?
Facebook or?
Yeah, Facebook and.
Are you still on MySpace? Tell me the truth.
I've gone back and forth with Twitter. Yeah, I'm still. Is MySpace still around?
Yeah, I don't know. But I can't even I forgot my code to even get into it if it is around.
Oh yeah, no.
There's a homeless guy sleeping under my profile picture on MySpace.
Right.
My profile picture
Yeah,
looks like my kid. My kid looks like my profile.
That's where all the homeless people are sleeping on all our profiles on MySpace.
On our MySpace pictures. MySpace is last year, Richie. Forget it. It's gone out of style like Cadillac fins and elephant bells. It's over. It's done.
It's all over. So, tell me about your worst experience at the zoo, each of you.
Brooklyn Jimmy didn't show up one night.
Did you have a fucking bomb like we open micers? I was an open micer, progressed a little bit, but not like you guys. Did you ever really bomb and you go, whoa? Did you question yourself ever? Not just at the zoo. Was there ever a time in your careers where you said, holy shit,
sure. Everybody, all the great ones get stared at, and there was no getting out of that. I'm sure for either. Oh yeah, we've been stared at plenty of times.
Yeah, every
this
day
makes you stronger and weirder.
Every day, Zigzag. Every day, I question.
Every day, 24/7, baby.
Not today though, because I'm going to hang up the phone. I'm going to put on a smoking jacket and enjoy a cocktail and say, today I was with the Zigzag. So I'm on the right path.
You certainly are, and you have a place to land when you're in Northern California. And
I'll tell you a funny story. I used to do all kinds of crazy stuff at the zoo, and one time I was in my food phase, and I was actually one of the first gigs I ever did for money. I got to MC one night at the zoo. And for some reason, I decided to do this, and I go up on stage and said, "Hey, you guys like the blues?" And I had a guitar case there. I'm like, "It's all right. I'll do a little blues for you now." And then a song started to play, and I pulled a drill out of the guitar case, and I plugged it in, and then all the guitar solos were taken out of the song that you were hearing. So when the guitar break came up, the first thing I did was just threw a stuffed animal, and then there were just feathers flying everywhere. And then the next break, I just drilled through some wood. And then when the song started to play, I handed out 40 hard-boiled eggs, and I said, "Okay." And I went up on stage, and I held the drill straight out. I go, "Okay, during the next break, just lob the eggs, and I'll catch them all on the end of my drill."
A cool hand Rube can drill 40 eggs in an hour.
Yeah,
you were Gallagher before there was Gallagher.
Yeah, I know, and these vicious bastards pummeled me to where I actually had to get down on the ground behind a stool. And so then I picked up some eggs and started throwing it back at them as they all walked out. And then the whole place had this whole place had a terrible sulfur smell. It was empty. I was just the MC, and Marty Higgins was headlining. He walks down the stairs. They had an office upstairs, and he walks downstairs, and he's standing on the platform halfway down the stairs, and he just looks at me and goes, "Am I up yet?" And so I chased everybody out. And one night I went up there to MC an open mic, and I go, "Yeah, this place is incredible. It's got a lot of history. The shithole, but it's got a lot of great history. It's got," and then, whatever. And then I said, "But one thing it's missing is cheese." So then I started filling up the cracks of the wood with some soft cheese, and then I just started throwing some cheese at the crowd. And then some guy got pissed off, and he throws the cheese at me, and I thought it didn't even hit me. And he said, "Hey, you hit my girlfriend's face and broke her glasses." I'm like, I go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And then when I got off stage, this guy, the manager, Mike, Steve, I don't know if you remember that dude, Mike, man. He'd always say, "Truly," whatever you said to him.
Truly. Oh, yeah, the guy who looked like Frederick Douglass. I remember him.
Yeah, he was great, man. He got that job right after Ronald Reagan fired all he was an air traffic controller that Ronald Reagan got rid of when they went on strike, and they go, and Ronald said, "Yeah, Truly." And so then
Truly, yeah, I remember Mr. Truly.
Yeah, man, he was great. We used to play poker at night on the stage, but so he goes, "Come here a minute." and there was a piece of cheese on my shoulder, and he had seen it from the stage because the cheese was reflecting light, which wasn't normal, and he sifted through it, and there was a lens from that girl's glasses, so we were able to get her lens and her glasses put back together. And then another time, I was hosting a show, and I wanted to do a takeoff on the old Sullivan shows, so I went up with that song that went up, 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 and I pulled out all these bamboo poles and put plates on them and started to do the plate spinning routine, you know, and
right.
I can't do the plate spinning routine, so all it was just a bunch of plates just smashing to the ground and yeah, and breaking and everything. It was just a matter of see how many plates. It's just stupid. And then at one point during the show, I was up on stage and I looked down and I saw this woman. Her leg was bleeding, you know, so she had taken some shrapnel from the plate spinning thing.
Right.
And then after the show, yeah, and then after the show, I see this woman and this other woman. They're coming at me, and the woman that had the bloody leg, she was in a wheelchair. So I felt even worse. No, I didn't see. No, but that's when it hit me. When I saw her bleeding on stage, I'm like, why didn't she complain? You know, and then what hit me, she was paralyzed from the waist down, so she couldn't feel it, and so I felt like a real shithead. They come up to me, and I'm like, well, you got to stand here and take it, and they go, we just want to let you know that we're huge fans, man. We love you. And then I didn't know what to do. Should I mention that? I looked down and her whole leg was just all bloodied up, and so I decided. I go, hey, I'm sorry about the plate thing if I hit anybody, and they go, oh no. See, so at that point when they left, I'm sure she found out that night. But at that point,
she's probably bled out on the way home, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, she could have done that, but maybe her daughter was a really big fan. Her mom bled out, and it was all worth it. You know, I don't know.
It was. You did an autograph.
And you know what? I don't know if any of that shit was ever necessary, but that was the place and the time to do it. The Holy City Zoo, man. You know.
Yeah, I don't know what they do now. They'll probably end in fisticuffs, but back then you could pretty much get away with almost anything. It was funny. And it always was when Rube was doing it.
Well, nowadays, yeah, go ahead.
No, I just want to know what influenced you guys. What comedy record did you each listen to as a kid growing up? What did you just memorize? Was it Cosby? Was it Bob Newhart? Just curious.
Oh, I loved Cosby. I loved Alan Sherman when I was a little kid. I liked Tom Lear. I liked I loved the Smothers Brothers. Usually, if music was involved, because I always loved music and I always loved humor. So if the two are together, I loved Frank Zappa when I was young, as I still do, and just anything that was funny.
How about you,
Ray? Yeah. I liked Alan Sherman. I liked Bill Cosby. I can remember because my dad, he never had them. My dad always had big band and jazz, and he turned me on to a lot of great music. But my friends' parents had some comedy records that we would listen to. So I remember Bill Cosby and all that. I'm trying to think of what else. So I don't, I think the television was more of a bigger than the records. I just didn't get to hear that many of them.
Showbiz? Did it scare your parents that you guys were taking an alternative way of going around the track?
Yeah.
I told my parents I was a brain surgeon, and they fell for it. So they wonder why I kept asking for money then.
I wasn't smart enough, I was. My mom was a classic Jewish, worrying mom, and just anything, you call her up to say, hey, I'm in St. Louis waiting for a flight. I'm going to Denver, and she goes, oh, you're at the airport? Yeah, Mom, I'm at the airport. Yeah, things are going well. And she, oh, you're not eating yogurt, are you? No, I just read somewhere that eating yogurt at the airport causes cancer. She would just make things up to worry about, And then the whole fear was that, and the whole fear with her was that, show business is hard, and you're going to fail. So,
hey, we had the same parents.
I guess it scared her. It scared her a lot. My dad was cool. He was pretty mellow. He liked telling stories anyhow. So, and then,
did they get to see
doing
you
what
guys
we
on
do.
Stage? Did your
What's
parents
that?
get to see you guys on? Did your parents get to see you guys on stage?
Oh, they loved Steve, which kind of irritated me, because they never got to see me.
My parents were big Rube fans. They hated me.
Yeah.
Right.
That used to get to both of us. God damn it.
I can.
My mother told me her big dream for me was to see me open for Rube. So.
I tell you what, man, my mom and dad saw me and they didn't get it, which I didn't expect them to. And then
I know
my
that
mom's only comment was, "Oh, it looks like he's putting weight on again." I heard that from the person sitting next to her, and it was
Let me ask you this: are your parents which of your parents are closest to Jerry's parents, and which closer to George's?
I don't know. Both they're dead, so I guess whichever actors are dead, they're closer to them.
Yeah, Jerry's
father is dead. Like,
I mean, my mother was kind of a cross between those two women, and I just wonder if your parents were close to those women, or can you identify with those parents in that show? I think it was the greatest show ever. And
it was a great show. My mother was a lot like George Costanza's mother, except worse. And Mom, I just headlined the big show and I made like $3,000. You should have been a veterinarian. And okay, Mom. So that was fun. My father was just eating.
Well, my mom, she didn't remind me of either one of those moms, okay. George or Jerry's. And she was kind of like a very, it was a trip, man. She was, a country elegance, really, and she was really worried about appearance. And she was a very pretty woman, and and so that kind of deal wasn't there, man, of like George's or Jerry's mom, and then my dad, he was a trip, man. He was just really bizarre and very, very mellow, very, very mellow. I never met a more mellow guy, and he would say the oddest things, which used to crack me up. Then he'd say them even more to irritate my mom and my two sisters because they didn't get it at all, and I'd be coughing up food at the dinner table, and then he loved World War II. He always wanted to talk about World War II, man, like it was the best time of his life. So, actually, he didn't remind me of any of the George or Jerry's.
I was just curious because I'm curious about stuff. That's just the way it goes.
Hey, you asked so many questions.
Well,
fuck them over, Muggsy.
I should just shut the fuck up and let you guys talk.
Make your feet bend the other way, Rocco.
Talk to each other a little bit. What would you?
I'm just spacing out. It's hard, do a phone in, man. I'll just tend to space out because I'm at home and I'm laying in bed in my pajamas. So but I tried. I wanted to get up to Alameda today at exactly 4:20, but it didn't happen.
Well, you missed a good time, but you know what? It could be 4:20 a.m. and it'd be a good time as well. So
absolutely,
you're always welcome up here, guys. Hey, thank you both.
Thank you. I'm going to get back to chugging NyQuil and watching reruns of Get Christy Love.
Oh, there you go.
Got a show coming up tonight. Tell me about your show at the Throckmorton, Stephen.
Tonight I'm at the Throckmorton, the legendary Throckmorton Theater in Mill Valley. It's a Holy City Zoo reunion night with myself, Mike Pritchard, Will Durst, Al Cleaton, and Doug Ferrari, who's putting on the show, and as I said, myself bringing up the rear. It should be a lot of fun. Of course, by the time people hear this, the show will be long over.
Well, from each of you before you go, because Ferrari's been my buddy for a long time. I love Douglas and understand Douglas, which really scares me.
Yeah, man.
Tell me a Doug Ferrari story.
When Kevin Espel quit the High Wire radio choir, I knew then the dream was over.
Oh, yeah. Doug Ferrari story. Geez, I'd have to sift through 1,100 of them to pop up.
Well, just give me one or two.
I could just remember always. When I worked with him, and we'd always be late for supernatural reasons, and it just partying at his house and then go. And Doug never drove. He never. I don't think he ever drove.
Doesn't to this day.
Yeah. He just couldn't figure it out, But I can just remember partying.
What does Prindle mean? I better stay away from this car.
What does Prindle mean? Yeah. I can remember, when you first start working and working with these guys, and you're the MC or the middle act, in a situation like that. And I just remember hanging at Doug's house, partying, and I'm like, hey, do you think we should get going? He's like, no, we got time. And then we're 2 hours late for the gig, and the promoter's standing right outside the car, and you had to back your way out of the passenger side. On my car, I only had the driver's side door that worked, and I'm standing there looking at the promoter, and he's got his finger over his lips, like, shh, and then Doug's still, getting his giant ass out of the car while the rest of his body's still in my car. He's like, just tell him that we had car trouble, and then just tell him that we got lost at the Livermore Lab, but whatever you do, don't mention anything about that. Oh, hey, man, and actually, Doug, thanks to Doug, I learned how to be late for every gig. I mean, I almost once missed a second show. This is like a Friday or Saturday night, the Punchline. I once missed my own second show, and that's hard to do because I was there for the first one,
I remember you go to a party at Doug's house, and then the party was over and you were leaving, he'd give you a bill for all the drugs you did or the beers you had. Well, you did 6 lines of blow and had 3.5 beers. That'll mean $27.62. Not counting gratuity, the body who put out the mirror.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm not paying for it.
Yeah. I forgot about it. Talk about what? Yeah, talk about weighed and measured. Talk about weighed and measured, and I remember, I remember at one point
5 lines, and I only had 6 beers. And we have the count here. We'll have to go over the video.
Yeah, I remember one time, one party, and it's the next morning, and then Monty left to go get more, and then Doug started freaking out, like he kept looking out the window, like we were like Sinatra in that movie where he took over a house to kill the president. He keeps looking out the window like something nefarious is going on, and then he starts looking at out of all his windows, and I go, what are you doing? And he goes, Monty's going to come back, isn't he? And I'm like, yeah, he's going to come back. He went to get some more stuff, and he's like going, oh, okay. And then he'd forget that, and he just suddenly had a fear of Monty coming back to his house. And he's like, oh, my God, Monty's coming back to the house. I'm like, would you just relax? That was the game plan. And then Monty came back, and then there was like a teeny little speck for everybody. And he goes, well, that's it, guys. And he goes, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to take a nap. And then the rest of the afternoon, Monty would come out of the guest room just covered in sweat. And I'm like, how's that nap going for you?
Who wants to lay in that bed afterwards?
And I don't mind talking about the good old days and partying and all that, because I'm not going to be hypocritical about it. Because yeah, man, we partied a lot. We were having a good time, and nowadays, and I don't want to get into that nowadays thing, but a lot of things now with the Nerdist movement, and it's hip to be a geek, and this tragically hip movement. And nobody's partying, man. They're just worried about how their beard looks. It's bizarre.
And their man bun.
Yeah, man. So I don't mind talking about the crazy ass shit, that we did, because we had the luxury of that kind of free time. We earned it, and then and then a guy like Steve goes up on stage, comes up with all this crazy stuff, and then that's what I try to do: go up on stage and come up with all this crazy. And it was fun, man. It was just a lot of fun, And Doug, a big part of that too, man. He was completely out of his mind.
He was like a veteran when we first came out here. So.
Yeah, he was, man. He was just completely out of his mind, and we used to go. He had a nice house. We go over there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Good memories, huh?
Oh yeah.
Only the best.
Thing, There'll be great memories, and then when I see some of these rock and roller guys that have been around longer than we have, and then you know about what they did, man, and documented, and they had way more money than I ever had, and they were going at it hard, and now say, oh, so just had a 70th birthday, so just had a 75th birthday. I'm like, oh, right on, man. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, holy crap, I made 60. The heart's still going. Hey.
Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah.
You amazed yourself on your birthday. Happy birthday.
I don't know how it happened. I'm supposed to stop at 26 and stay there, but here I am at 60. I'm like Steve McQueen at the end of Poppy, and he gets off and he's shaking his fist at the ocean. I'm still here, you bastards.
Hey. Right, man. Right. I'm still trying to see if the sack of coconuts will float so I can get out of here.
I know. The coconuts are still floating, you bastards.
Let me ask you guys about Cantu before you go.
I don't want to say that guy was filthy, but he had worms in him before he died. Thank you.
Oh, man. Cantu, man, he, of course, tried to rope everybody into taking a class, and then all I remember was one of my first times ever doing open mic in San Francisco. You go up at 2 in the morning, right? But somehow there was a snafu and a fucking some sort of weird fuck up, and suddenly I'm up at 10 o'clock in front of a packed house, and I did something with a newspaper that had, it was an actual newspaper. It said Medfly area gets bigger, and I doctored it. Huh?
Medflies. I remember Medflies. The Medflies.
No, I know. That's when I started back in '83. And they said, and anyhow, the paper said Medfly. Medfly. It was the Examiner. The headline was Medfly area gets bigger. So I doctored it to say Medfly gets bigger, and just went off on some bizarre ramble of a giant Medfly. That was how I ended my set. And then I remember what's her name walking up to me, the nurse from. Who was that? The nurse in the Right Stuff that she crashed in.
Jane Dornacker. Jane Dornacker.
Yeah, Jane Dornacker, man. She was great, man. She came up to me and she goes, "Young man, that was very funny." Then I walk a few more. Feet, and Cantu comes up to me, and I thought he was going to compliment, and all he does is stick his finger in my chest like he's Dick Tracy, and he looks me in the eye. He goes, "You went over by 2 minutes. Don't ever do that again."
What a wonderful man.
But then somehow, like a day later, I don't even know how he got his phone number, because I'm pretty sure I was homeless without a phone at the time. But I still got a phone call from him going, "Hey, that was a great set you did, but you know what? You need classes."
We all needed classes. Everybody
needed a class.
Robert Willie, you need my class.
Yeah, I think if everybody had taken this class, there would not have ever been a comedy boom back then.
No, not at all. Everyone would have quit. This sucks.
I know. But it was
to be had.
Yeah, those were fun times, man.
I'm going to end the show. I hope you both come back individually or together, or however you do.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
I'm gonna come crash the party live. I'm gonna get to Alameda.
There you go.
That sounds good. I really hope so, Rube, because we'll go out and we'll meet Meredith out in San Francisco.
Oh, I love Meredith. That would be great. Yeah, we definitely have to do that.
Got started doing podcast radio. We were partners originally at FCC Not So Free Radio in San Francisco, and she's terrific. I love Mary.
I love Meredith, yeah. And I did the pub crawl. I did that a few months ago now, but I want to get back and do that one again too, so.
Beautiful. So when you're up here, you got a place to stay and you got something to smoke at all times.
Oh,
I'm coming over
fantastic.
Too. And I live up here.
Fantastic.
All right. Cool enough. And
well, everybody go to the Throckmorton tonight. Everybody go to the Throckmorton tonight. I'd go.
Yeah, big fun.
I'd go if I was up there.
Posted in time so people will get to know about it. I'm going to end the segment the same way I end every one. I'm going to implore my guests, Stephen Pearl and Bob Rubin.
Thank you.
Great San Francisco Bay Area comedians. I'm going to implore you in my listening aughty eye to keep your dreams wet, keep your humor dry, keep your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics that wear dresses. And it'll be a better world. That's the only thing I can tell you.
It will be.
What, right? I mean, I break it down to simplicity, and that's all I want to do is keep it nice and smooth and nice and simple. Thanks, guys. Great segment. Adios.
Thank you.
And
take care, guys.
Take care. Bye. Thanks for having us.
Bye. Bye-bye.